Style on New Style Radio 98.7 FM. Making money makes sense. A lot this morning about Azalea Banks and different aspects of that conversation, and I have to say it made me, after she got kicked off Twitter, I mean, the reasons why, I'm not going to say it's irrelevant, it's not, it's very relevant, but the reasons why were not my biggest concern. My thing was, why is this young woman so outspoken? Why does she have so much to say? And what does that say about culture right now of young women in our society? And a few weeks ago, I came across an organisation that I was very, very impressed with. I saw an advert that they shot on Facebook, actually, and I immediately started hunting down the woman that was in charge, and I'm pleased to say that I found her. So our sorority provides a range of skills and support through mentoring, workshops and family support for vulnerable young women and mothers aged 15 to 25, and the woman who founded it, Alicia Barnes, is here in the studio. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning, thanks for having me here.
Oh, you are very welcome. Now, as I say, we've been talking about Azalea Banks, and we've been talking about, you know, the manner in which she's been doing what she's been doing, and whether that's actually damaging, because as a young woman, she's clearly frustrated, she's clearly got issues and concerns, but actually what does that look like when we start to say, well, how does that affect your life, and how does that affect your career prospects, and how does that affect business and the other people that are in business with you? And I know your organisation is all about helping young women. Yeah. So first of all, talk to me about why you set up our sorority, and then we'll get your thoughts on the whole Azalea Banks situation.
So our sorority, I set this up because in 2008 I went through bereavement, and I was looking for an organisation like my organisation that can help me. I reached out to numerous people, numerous organisations, and I didn't feel that they could give me the support that I felt like I needed or wanted at the time. So I kind of self-helped myself. My family, my friends were there for me, and I kind of got out of the situation. So I moved to London, I went to uni, kept busy and things like that, and come up with this idea saying, you know, if I could get a organisation just for girls that deal with more than, because a lot of female organisations deal with specific vulnerabilities such as homelessness, domestic violence, etc., whereas we don't deal with a specific vulnerability, we deal with what you're going through at the moment. So if you know you want to speak to people about something, you want help with something, you want to access a service, that's what we can help with. We don't deal with the specific vulnerability, because I don't feel that's the issue. Your issue is deeper than that.
Now, as I say, I feel like when we talk about mental health, and it is Mental Health Week this week, and when we talk about that, particularly in our community, I think there's much recognised around black men. And, you know, I have to say that, you know, as a sister, if you want to put it like that, as a black woman, it's something I'm very, very sensitive to. I do not like people banding around terms about our black men loosely and say, oh, you know, he's crazy, or I don't like that, because I realise that it means a lot more than just a throwaway statement. But do you feel that this is something that's not talked about as much and as it should be for black women?
I don't really think that it's talked about at all, really. Like, in regards to women, it's not spoke about at all. When a woman, especially a black woman, mentions something like, oh, I feel a bit stressed, people are like, oh, well, you don't really know what stress is, and they kind of like dismiss it, and it kind of leaves that person thinking like, who can I go to, like, should I even say anything? And then you end up dealing with it yourself, and sometimes you can, you know, end up worse off.
Well, yes, and I mean, I have to say that again, through social media platforms and actually through personal relationships, I mean, I'm aware of young black women recently that have taken their own lives. And, you know, so it does prove that there is an issue that's going on, and for that reason, if we're not talking about it, that means there's no real support for it.
Not at all. There's no support. If you're not talking about it, then nobody can help you with it. But then sometimes you talk about it, and then nobody still can help you with it. And with a lot of especially young black girls, they don't want to access regular services like just going to the doctors. So things that can put a stigma around them, they definitely don't want to access that service. That's why it's good to have somewhere where you can go and speak to, you know, real down to earth people about what you're going through, and then they can probably direct you to the correct place and, you know, and deal with you in the correct manner, rather than having someone that's very clinical, you know, someone that's, you know, just in a suit and tie in front of you, that don't really understand your culture or your lifestyle, trying to tell you, you know, oh, maybe this is wrong with you, maybe you should see somebody about this, maybe you should, you know, take this medication. That's not what you want. You just kind of want someone to speak to and relate to. And a lot of the people that deal with mental health, you can't do that as a young black woman. You can't relate to them.
And do you find that that's what becomes the big burden and challenge for the young women that engage with your services?
Definitely, because when, you know, when they come to our office isn't like officey. It's got a nice little couch, you know, we've got cereal, they can come talk about whatever they want to talk about, and we're just, you know, like this casual, you know, so it's relaxing, and we kind of tell them things in a very real way that they will understand. We don't use all these clinical terms that you don't understand and, you know, force you to access services. Like, we're going to talk to you, you know, one-to-one, how you would speak to, you know, like a sister or something. That's what our sorority is about. It means sisterhood. So we talk to you like you're our sister, and we give it to you plain and straight, really. Like, we're just quite real.
No, and I love that. I mean, the reality of the matter is, I mean, you know, because hey, my business is out there, so I might as well just put myself on blast. I'm in my 30s, okay, and one of the things that I recognise being at this stage and age, if you like, is that there are lots of, let's call it, in the business world in particular, there's lots of business sororities right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of women's groups that are coming together for various different reasons. They are popping up all over the place, you know, like confetti even. I'm like, really? Like, can't we just all work together? But putting that aside, and what it demonstrates is that there's a need, that even as grown women who are supposed to be grown and mature, and we're supposed to know ourselves and be in that place, we still need those places of support. We still need those areas for anchoring. And maybe it's because there wasn't much going on, or there wasn't anything going on when we were younger. So I feel like you're addressing an issue at an earlier stage that, quite frankly, leaves, if you like, it's I suppose, stain, shall we say, well into adulthood when it's not being dealt with.
Because we try and give the young girls the knowledge to equip themselves for adulthood. So when they get older, and, you know, some of them don't have children already, when they have children of their own, they're able to, you know, manage their situation. Because girls that go through vulnerability, anybody that goes through vulnerability, that vulnerability stays with you forever. It's just how you manage it. So some people don't know how to manage what they've been through, what they've seen, etc. Whereas we help them to manage that, so you'll never forget what happened to you. It's just that we're better equipped for if it happens again, and how to manage your feelings around what happened prior.
So tell me, Azalea Banks, as I say, big news this week. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Well, from listening to her, because I've seen a few of her other interviews, and I feel like she does talk a lot of sense, and she's passionate about what she talks about, but I just think the way she goes about it and the things that she says is very unfiltered. So she doesn't mind getting people's backs up. So, for instance, when I watched her some of her rants, I was like, it kind of reminded me of me a few years ago. So, like, you know, when you're at a job and you don't really like the job, you want a few things to change. It's like, oh, you start ranting, oh, maybe we should do that, blah, 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 and, you know, and it kind of turns into I was an angry black woman at work, you know what I mean? And it's just the way you go about things. And that was another reason why I went to my own business, because I used to work in residential children's homes before, and I just wasn't happy with the way the specific children's home that I worked in was being run. I wanted to do more things with the kids. I wanted them to be more independent and not as spoon-fed as they were, because I'm not like that with children anyway. I'm like, you know, you need to wash what you used, you need to change your bed yourself, and if I'm cooking, you need to contribute, so you need to help cut something up at least, you know. So they was very spoon-fed, and, you know, I wanted to do more things with them to kind of get them ready for when they leave care, because once they leave, they're kind of left alone and, you know, don't know how to handle bills, etc. I used to rant about things like that, and, you know, oh, it's Alicia, she's moaning again and things like that. And I used to think, what will it take for them to get to understand what I'm trying to say? So I tried the nice approach where I go in, sit down with them, have a one-to-one and speak about it. And it's like, you're still not listening. So I can get her frustration and her passion at the same time, because I was very passionate to help the young people that I was working with, and I was very frustrated as well. And that resulted in me leaving. And now that I've got my own business, I can run it how I see fit, and I can get feedback from other people. So I know that even though it's the way I want it to be run and I think I'm doing things correctly, other people, because it's a charity, other people can have their input and make sure that I'm also running it correctly as well, how they think we should benefit the community.
No, and I love that, and I like the way that you've taken that aspect of learning and recognising that, you know, as we were saying earlier, you can't always change the system by banging the door from the outside.
Exactly.
You have to find a way to get into it.
Yeah, you have to, once you're in the system, because, you know, you just looked upon as someone that's ranting from the outside, or she doesn't really know what she's talking about, she's just angry. A lot of people won't even see it as passion. It's just that, oh, she's got something to say, she's just an angry black woman, where that's not the case. She just doesn't know, or she probably doesn't care about how she kind of delivers what she's trying to say.
Yeah, but I think the shame about it is it dilutes the message. It means that nobody's actually listening to the true crux of what the message is.
Exactly.
So how do young women out there engage with your organisation as they're listening this morning and thinking, you know, maybe I could do with a little bit of support?
Well, they can contact us. So our contact number is 07788 377 522. We're currently getting our website developed at the moment, so that's down at the moment, and we've got an email address which is info@oursorority.com. You can find us on Facebook, which is Our Sorority. Find us on Twitter, which is Our Sorority with the number 1 at the end. And we're also on Instagram, which is Our Sorority_charity.
Lovely. And if you just repeat the number again one more time.
Yes, 07788 377 522.
Lovely, and we'll make sure that all of that information goes onto the website. You know, what's your, if I tell you you've got 30 seconds, what's your final message to young women listening this morning?
I think that young women, like, they feel like they don't have a voice, and they do. So I think that they should definitely use it in a proactive and positive way to benefit, and they need to make sure that they help each other, because a lot of young women nowadays, they're kind of all for themselves, or, you know, women don't support other women, and I think that it's a shame, because we can do great things together.
Absolutely. Alicia, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, really pleased to have you guys in this morning. I've got to say thanks again to not just yourself, but also to Josh Bridge, who came in, spoke a lot of sense. Loved our guest this morning, to the point where I've just ditched half the show, babe. Like, I'm just like, you know what, forget about that, we're not doing that this morning. So just as a reminder, if you want to find out what events you need to be at, check out financialstyle.media. Remember, you can get us through newstarradio.co.uk. We will be back next week, Rakeem and I, of course, with more to share. This time we've got a lady in from Coventry. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.